last game about, you were talking about like the maturity the team has to have. That would seem to apply especially to a game where 2 weeks ago you were leading this team by 30 in the second half, and now you got playing again in third place.
Yeah, a lot of this doesn't happen as much in our league now because you were used to playing everybody twice. When it was traditional 10 teams, that was everybody, and it was always kind of the human behavior piece of everything, right? Like you play a team you're comparable to, and you win at home by a pretty good amount. And now when you go back to their place, like you weren't probably as good and they weren't probably as bad, but just on that day, that just kind of, it happens, right? Where your shots go in, their shots don't, but you're pretty close to each other in terms of the quality of teams. Obviously, we're both up there in the standings trying to win a Big Ten championship. So you just have to kind of focus on some of the things that got you in that position and understand, how we forced a lot of turnovers in the game. So if you play in this game and you don't force turnovers, like how does the game look, right? Rebounding is going to be more important. Shot making is going to be more important. We made shots in the game, so a lot of things went our way. So you just get back to the scouting report of the efficiency of things. When you take care of the basketball and you take good shots, like you're going to really, really help yourself defensively. And if you can force turnovers and get in transition, like now you're really helping the efficiency of your offense. And but no, it just kind of goes back to kind of square one and going through the scouting report and going through everything that you do and understanding why we had success and also understanding how they could flip it, because obviously they can flip it.
You look back at the USC game. Any concern about the offensive rebounding they were able to do, and it's where you feel like you guys are generally?
Yeah, not just that game, just in general. Even if we have good games from an offensive rebounding or stopping offensive rebounding or whatever the stat might be, it doesn't go away. Like we're not a great rebounding team, and sometimes people want to leave that alone. I think it's important to talk about it because that's. You got to stay out of your rotations, and you got to stay with good rebound balance, and you got to just go after the basketball. And at times we weren't jumping. For us to have the struggles we did, but still out rebounded by I think 17 is kind of a crazy stat, right? Because there was a 5-6 minute stretch in there where we couldn't get one. But no, I don't think that will never get away from us as a staff because we understand our team. Like we don't have that one guy that could just clean up everything.
How much of a difference has Caleb made there, and how much of it was that part of the equation of getting him a bigger role?
Sure, no question. I think just embracing the physicality of the game, getting someone. What he does for us is, he can guard a center, he can guard a guard, he can guard different people. So he allows us to fix some things when we have tough matchups. And it's not always fixed. Like you still got to go out there and do your job, but no, his aggressiveness and his ability to rebound, that piece really helps us.
You have a lot of freshmen, so this will be the first time they play a team for the second time. Is that an advantage for them that they already have a scouting report on a team for once, or is it the other team knows them now?
I don't think it really matters. Yeah, I think it's more of just collective as two teams. We had a really good win against them, and it's going to be very tough to beat them at their place, but that's the challenge. And whether you're a freshman or you're a senior, I think you'll realize that, and obviously we're going to talk about that a lot. And so but no, it's something that it's going to turn here real quick for them, because they're going to play Michigan, then they're going to play Indiana, they're going to play Rutgers, and those are our three games who we play twice.
What impresses you about the way Dusty put a bunch of guys together and has made it work?
Yeah.
When you get a bunch of guys in the portal, you never know, it could go sideways, and
no question,
he's helping together.
Well, I think he's got a good balance. Like, you have, Cheddar and Burnett, from the previous year. He has Golden from his team, that he coached last year. So I think that helps. Danny Wolf is such a unique player that you just don't see that kind of size and that skill. Together, Rodney Gale's been in our league, so he played. He's played in the Big Ten. He's familiar with the Big Ten. Trey Donaldson is at one of the best schools in the country in Auburn, and the success that they've had here. So there's a lot of pieces there. And then what I like about it is there's Sam Walters comes over from Alabama as a sophomore, and then he assigned some freshmen. So he has a balance across the board. So it's not just a whole bunch of 4th, 5th year guys. He has a balance of freshmen, sophomores, juniors, seniors. And I think that's the smart way to do it. So now you get your impact, but you still have your development and your growth. And that's hard to do because people think you're drafting these guys and you're not. You're recruiting. We all know who the hell to get. We just all can't get it. And so it makes it hard to navigate some things and navigate those waters, especially when you take over. Because if you struggle to rebound, hey, I need to go get 2 guys. I got to get some rebounders, right? But when you got to get a whole team, you got to get everything, and then you got to worry about chemistry. You got to worry about blending guys in and do something, and it gets to be very difficult because it's really hard to troubleshoot.
It's not every day that a coach ties the Big Ten win record. Just Tom Izzo's legacy on top of the Big Ten and your relationship with him.
Yeah, it's unbelievable feat. Obviously a great honor for him, great honor for their program. You just don't achieve that without 30 years of really good players and really good coaches around you. And so he's been phenomenal, and you see all the assistants that he's had that have had success, and all the coaches, all the players that have went on and played in the NBA and had great careers. And there's no such thing as a great coach with bad players. You got to keep it in perspective. But anytime you can have that kind of success with, I think it's 10 Big Ten championships, 8 Final Fours, that's going to help you in recruiting. Because you've proven that you can develop players. You've proven you can win at an elite level, and all those guys want to get to the NBA, and they've had great success. So happy for him. And I said earlier, it's one of those things that a 56 game hit win streak that you just don't think is ever going to be broke. It might never be broke. You just think it's one of those type records. And obviously he has hung in there for a long time and competed at a very high level, and good for him. He deserves all this.
Go back to rebounding for a second. When you're recruiting someone like Brayden, are you thinking of him at all about the rebounding he's going to add based on his position, his size, whatever? He's obviously been a value add for you guys, the way he rebounds.
Our recruiting was about 48 hours long, so if I can go back to our, after that kid decommitted from us, and then we ended up getting him on a Zoom and watching film and doing stuff. But that was kind of the people that knew that I talked to about it, really had great things to say about him across the board, about his ability to do everything. When you physically look at him, you're not thinking of things of that nature, right? You're not thinking of him as a guy that could rebound, but when you go look at his stats, he's always been a guy that's been around the ball. So whether that's getting long rebounds, getting rebounds at the rim, getting steals, getting deflections, he's always around the basketball. And that's what jumped out to me on the film, was just how well he knew the game, how well he could pass, but also defensively how he could play angles and how he could get steals. And we had to really hold him back a little bit the first couple years until he kind of understood about staying in the game, not fouling, not getting into foul trouble, but also just kind of waiting for people to break down, waiting for people to show weakness, then be aggressive. I think that's where he's done a much better job. As it goes on and he becomes a pro, I think he'll even be better at that, especially if he's not a starter. Because now you can really get in there, and empty your tank when you're in those rotations and you come off the bench. You can really get in there and do some things. And he's going to have to do that. You have to be a ball hawk. And we stop him from doing that. The guy that can win Kevin Fletch, if that guy's got quickness, can handle the ball, can go guard the ball, that really helps us. Lance did that. CJ's done that here. Miles does that. G does that. So that really balances our backcourt right there. But we also, we don't, if we're going to play him the whole damn game, I can't have him up there hawking the ball the whole game. It's going to take away from his efficiency offensively. So, but as he moves to the NBA, he's going to be a 94-foot guy, whether he's got the ball or he's guarding the ball.
Because he had conversations with you. He mentioned after the Iowa game, he gets mad when you pull him for 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Is there times where you take him out and he's like, no, leave me in?
Yeah, every time I take him out. Yeah, so he's had a couple good ones. He'll defend other people when you take him out, and you say, "Why are you taking these guys out? Or why are you doing that?" And that.
It's a long con.
Huh?
He's trying to build a case.
Oh, yeah. So he's emotional. He's yet to be right when he's argued. And so I'm like, I usually do. If we ever hire him on staff, he won't be in charge of substitutions.
Last year he tried to pull one on, but then he just get off the bench and
Yeah,
so
yeah. When that all happened, like I didn't realize that he was that close to those things. So I'd already taken him out. So I'm not gonna like to put him back in to do that. But I should have kept him in there longer. But I didn't realize that I wasn't looking at a box score when I'm up by 30.